Hello everyone, welcome to Matselele Connect, a podcast where we break down the most pressing political, media, global affairs with a sharp analysis and deep insights. My name is Nahoho Rashid Matselele, and if you've just joined us, please don't forget to hit the subscription box. Don't also forget to like and also share our content. We also need feedback from you. Don't hesitate. If you have any comment, to go down in the comment box. You can ask a question, you can suggest, make any suggestions on how we can improve our content, and you can give us feedback. How do you feel about this program? Now, today we want to have an insight into an explosive showdown that just happened in the Oval Office of the United States of America. That is between President Donald Trump and President Zelensky. Now, as you are aware that on Friday, the whole world was waiting. President Trump had announced that there are going to be a deal that is going to be signed between the United States and the Ukrainian president, that is Volodymyr Zelensky. And the press was waiting to hear about this signing and this deal. Of course, earlier this deal had been published, the agreement of the deal that included allowing the United States to have a joint fund between it and the government of Ukraine to have a reconstruction fund that can help Ukraine to recover from the war that has ravaged its people. Now, as we were waiting in the late hours, evening hours here, Ugandan time, the two presidents met in the Oval Office, and at the beginning the discussions were moving on somehow okay, but I think in the last 10 minutes it turned into a shouting match between the President of the United States and President Zelensky of Ukraine and the Deputy President or the Vice President of the United States of America. And at the end of the day, what the world was expecting, the signing of the agreement between Donald Trump and President Zelensky, we just saw that a few minutes after the explosive clash between the three people, President Zelensky had to leave the White House. So let's see what really happened. Let's watch some videos, what happened in the Oval Office.
The United States of America, and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes.
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You
God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's exactly
Remember
what
this.
you're doing.
I'm not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
Feel influenced.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From the
it.
very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position.
I
You don't
was-
have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War
What you're-
III.
what you're
You're
speaking
gambling
about?
with
What you're
World
speaking
War
about?
III. And
You-
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country,
I'm
that's
with
backed
all
you
respect to your
far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of
you're
America
speaking about?
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Welcome back from that, and as you see, it was a showdown. It was a clash between literally presidents quarreling, and in front of the press. And President Trump was very clear that he wanted this to go on so that the American people can see. Now, we should know very well that during the United States of America, when it went into pause, and we saw that President Biden and President Trump had to face each other. Now, before the pause, we had a different approach by the Biden's administration towards the war in Ukraine. Now, Biden had a very, very aggressive approach towards the government of Russia. We saw that Russia was being internationally isolated. Basically, Biden believed that if there was to be peace in Ukraine, then that peace should happen only when Ukraine is the winner. But things changed drastically when President Trump came in as the president of the United States. In fact, during the U.S. campaign, President Trump says that, you know what, I want to end this war within 24 hours. And he says we have to ensure that American involvement in the Russia-Ukraine war is ended, and we should have peace. So when President Trump comes in, he's trying as much as possible to see that he achieves this, and he's ready, as he says, to see that there is a deal that can lead to peace between Ukraine and Russia. When he became the president, there was a call that was made to the president of Russia by Trump, and it is said it lasted for 90 minutes, talking about the situation in Ukraine and how peace can be established. But it didn't stop there. President Trump also sent a delegation from the White House to go to Saudi Arabia that had to meet with officials from the Republic of Russia to discuss the future of peace in Ukraine. Now he goes ahead and comes up with a deal and says, you know what, according to him, United States has given Ukraine about $500 billion in form of aid to ensure that Ukraine supports itself and fights back, defends itself against Russia aggression. But he says we are losing a lot of money and we are gaining nothing from this conflict. And the more the conflict continues, it means the burden on the taxpayers of America is high. So he says, you know what, we need to come up with a deal where we see that there is peace, but also the United States of America should recover its money which was given in form of aid to Ukraine. Now, at first, he comes up with a proposal and says, you know what, Ukraine, let us have a deal. You pay back the $500 billion that America gave to you in terms of aid. You pay it back in form of the natural mineral resources. And President Zelensky says, no, that is not a good deal. It's a bad deal. I cannot sign it. It's like I'm selling my country. What is the final deal that President Trump comes up with, and that was supposed to be signed before we saw this clash that happened in the Oval House? The deal specifically says that the U.S. Ukraine deal establishes a jointly managed reconstruction investment fund where Ukraine will contribute 50% of future revenues from state-owned natural resource projects. So basically that is the deal. That let's have a joint fund. Any future monetized mineral resources, and these mineral resources, according to the agreement, does not talk about only minerals and rare earths, but also it includes oil, gas, and related infrastructure like ports and other terminals. And in future, if these investments are monetized, 50% of the revenues must go to the reconstruction fund, and that money will be reinvested in Ukraine to see that Ukraine recovers. So basically that is the deal. One would wonder, why really? Why does Trump need this deal? How is strategically, how is this deal or agreement important to the government of United States? Now, we know well that Ukraine has a lot of mineral deposits, and most of these deposits are most important in the manufacture of electric cars, electronics like smartphones, batteries, and United States of America, most of these minerals are supplied by China to it. Actually, China accounts for 90% of these minerals that it exports to the United States. Now, in case of a disagreement between United States of America and China, China can decide to weaponize this and says, you know what, we are not giving you these minerals, and that means that United States will be hurt. Here is where Ukraine comes in. Now, what does Trump see? He sees Ukraine in this agreement, if it is signed, as an alternative to counter the threats that now exist that might come from from China rather. So this is where now Ukraine comes in, and Ukraine has a lot of graphite, lithium, and the other critical minerals that are very important in the manufacture of different electronics like electric cars and other things. Unlike the Biden's administration and the European Union that focused on securing long-term partnership with Ukraine, Trump's approach is different. He wants now United States to have control over the natural resources of Ukraine. So how about Ukraine? Is it, because now we are trying to look, is this deal, if signed, is it a win-win, or there is some compromise? There are reservations that have been made by President Zelensky and the people of Ukraine that this deal cannot be complete until security is guaranteed for Ukraine. Because President Trump says, you know what, we cannot guarantee security But we hope that the European Union needs to come in and guarantee security. But it also says that as long as there are investments of the United States in Ukraine, and there are many employees and employers from the United States who will work in Ukraine, then he assumes that peace will be there and Russia will not make more mistakes of attacking Ukraine, because that will be a direct confrontation with the United States. So he says he cannot guarantee security, but as long as future investments start according to the deal that is being proposed, reconstruction fund, then he says that there will be peace. But Zelensky wants this to be included in the agreement that we need EU assurance that in case of any attack on Ukraine, then United States must come in and confront Russia. But President Trump says no, it is European Union which must guarantee that. Another worry of Ukraine and President Zelensky is that Russia has captured many of Ukrainian territories, and most of those territories have these mineral deposits. Now, further aggression of Russia and more capture of the territories of Ukraine by Russia means that Russia will again have more access and more control on these mineral deposits, something which Ukraine is worried about. However, experts stress that for Ukraine to regain control over its natural resources, then Ukraine must be in position of regaining the territories which were captured by the Russian government. Although this agreement does not guarantee security for Ukraine, President Trump has promised that there will be the seeking of a lasting solution for lasting peace in Ukraine. Another question that can be asked is that what implications does it have on NATO, European Union, and Ukraine? Now, it is believed that under Trump administration, Trump has signaled that he doesn't want much involvement in terms of military actions in Ukraine by the United States. And he says this war is more important to Europe and NATO than the United States. So it means that NATO and Europe should face more expenses of the war. Now, these developments of the Trump administration put NATO and the European Union in a vulnerable state. You find that this deal, if it is broken, at a certain point, it might also create mistrust of the reliability of NATO members and European Union on US for future commitments to their security. So this will also weaken the alliances between these partners, the NATO, European Union, and the United States, because of that mistrust. They feel that the deal will give Russia an upper hand. And I think whatever transpired in the Oval House and those verbal exchanges, the Kremlin in Moscow, they could be now celebrating when they watch this. Now, what has Russia said about this? Like I said, that since the Trump administration came, it has been a lot of discussions are going on between Russia and the United States to see that there is a lasting peace solution on the Ukraine-Russia war. And when this deal came in, the president of Russia said Russia is one of the leading countries when it comes to rare metal reserves. By the way, as for new territories, we are also ready to attract foreign partners. There are certain reserves there too. And now this one now puts Ukraine in a more weaker position, because President Trump tells President Zelensky, you don't have the cards, we have the cards. Because if President Zelensky hesitates or refuses to sign this deal, President Putin, the other side, has signaled that he's ready to work with the foreign partners, even America. And this is why you see that when they were exchanging words, Trump is trying to emphasize that you either sign the deal or you lose, because we have the cards. You don't have the cards. Basically, to wrap up things, is that the mineral deal between President Trump and President Zelensky, it's a high-stake gamble. And we are trying to see if Ukraine signs this deal, can it recover from the war and strengthen its ties with the United States? But like it has been pointed out by President Zelensky, that without a security guarantee from the side of the United States, the path to a lasting peace solution remains unclear. So what do you think? Is this a new era of peace in Ukraine? If you enjoyed this podcast, let's hear from you. Let's hear your feedback. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. My name is Nahoho Rashid Matselele, and this is the Matselele Podcast.